Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, welcome to this live stream video. Welcome to, where are we? We are, welcome to me. I'm Alice. Welcome to Ascension Love with Alice. It's so gorgeous, so wonderful to be here with you all. We are doing a video today on Chiron Retrograde. So this is a really, really important one. And I love, I say it's important because Chiron is known as the wounded healer. Of course, it's not a planet. It's an asteroid. Is it an asteroid? Asteroid or comet? Asteroid. But it's known as the wounded healer, right? The wounded warrior, sorry. And it's a really great healer. So I'm going to just ask the angels to help me with my words here because I'm already switching a few words around. So let's just take a moment. But Chiron, if any of you have ever gone into your natal chart on, any of the websites like astro.com, they are wonderful for doing this because you can get your free natal chart done there if you know your time of birth. And on the list of planets in your natal chart, Chiron is actually listed because it really is quite important. The reason why it's important is because a lot of our deep wounds that we're here to work on in this lifetime, a lot of those deep triggers are represented by Chiron, right? And when Chiron goes retrograde, which is for usually around 5 months, so just short of 5 months, it brings up a lot of those deep-rooted wounds, a lot of those inner child wounds, a lot of those energies that really wish to clear, right? Anytime we have a wound coming up, it's always because there is an area within us where we could receive more light, we could receive more love. There is a lack or an absence of love, right? And we want to really receive that. So I'm here to do a little live. I have some cards, so I'm going to pull some cards to actually assist with this live stream. So we're going to have a look at what energy this retrograde is going to bring. And now, this is going to be a general message for this particular retrograde. There are, of course, many other planets currently in retrograde as well, which is all assisting. And there are videos for those, for most of those anyway, on my YouTube channel. So do be sure to check back if you want to see how they all overlap. But each person, depending on where Chiron lies in your chart, will have an extra layer, an extra message, an extra meaning. Also, because Chiron is retrograding in the sign of Aries, wherever Aries is, so whichever house Aries is in on your natal chart. And this might be a little bit advanced for some people, so don't worry, you will get the message, you'll get the general message from this live stream. But if you are one of those people that are into going in a little bit more detail, a little bit more depth, then I would highly recommend looking at where Aries is in your natal chart, to see what may get, and where Chiron is in your natal chart, to see the extra layers, right, that may be showing up for this particular retrograde for you. So Chiron is retrograding from the 15th, so that's Thursday the 15th of July, all the way through to the 19th of December. So that takes us pretty much up to thereabouts up to the winter solstice, right? And that winter solstice this coming year is going to be a very, very big one. There's going to be the last 4 months of the year, 4 or 5 months of this year is really big, because we're in this kind of controlled demolition this year, right? Hello, beautiful souls that are joining this live. I just want to say welcome to everyone live, welcome to everyone on the replay, and thank you to those that are asking questions. I will be answering questions, especially about Chiron and how it may be affecting us, or anything else that you may be asking as well. But I just want to say thank you. I'm having a lovely week to the beautiful soul who has just asked that. Thank you so much. This is getting recorded just after a wonderful Cancer new moon, right? And, we all received that invitation to really delve into ourselves. And what was really nice, now the moon is currently in Virgo and my sun is in Virgo. So I always love a Virgo moon because it kind of brings a lot through for me personally. So thank you. That's influencing my week wonderfully and my dream time wonderfully. But let's get back to Chiron here. So, oh no, they just reminded me I was talking about this year. So we've got one more month because we're in between the 7-7 portal and the 8-8 portal. I'll probably do another video on this separately so it's not all in one and it's not too much information. But this next month is going to be a very, very full-on month energetically, as more contrast is going to want to come out, because we've got this wonderful Sirius alignment happening, and you'll hear about Lion's Gateway. I will talk about that in another video. But there's a lot coming through. Now, this is a really great overlap for the start of Chiron retrograde, because the Sirius alignment, right, for the Lion's Gateway, which is the 8th of the 8th, it's also known as the 8/8 portal, is about aligning you on your highest timeline. And Chiron is all about showing up the deep wounds that are within you, right? The things that may be stopping you from being on your highest timeline, anything that is somewhat wanting to clear, and this will be a pattern that will come up regularly, but each time it comes up, we'll see it with fresh eyes, we'll see it with a fresh heart, and that's always the beauty of it. So let's start by pulling a few cards. I just want to see what energy that this wonderful Chiron retrograde is going to bring as a general theme for us all. So let's have a little look-see here. So we've got the full moon eclipse card coming in. So we've got some conclusions that are wanting to come through. So there is definitely a big space for old wounds that have maybe held us back before, that we may not have seen before, to really close up, to really kind of go, okay, we're closing the door on that. The chapter's done. We learned from it. Thank you so much. I'm bringing in the light and the healing that is necessary. Whereas previously, you may not have been able to do that, right? And once again, look at where both Chiron and Aries are in your natal chart, because that will give you an extra layer as to what that may be about, right? So, for example, Aries for me overlaps the house which talks about sex, death, and taxes, right? Ironically, and also relationships, so it kind of overlaps that. So for me, it's always quite interesting to kind of see how that will show up, right? And how I'm able to each year then kind of heal another layer of something relating to that. And I'll never know what it is until it comes up. And it's always about how clear do we keep our hearts and our heads, how well grounded do we stay in order to witness what shows up, right? That's always the trick. And I've spoken about inner child healing before. I've spoken about shadow work before, unconscious work, subconscious work. I've spoken about all this before. But it's really a really wonderful opportunity to close up karmic cycles, and that's what I'm hearing right now, is the closing of karmic cycles, so that you can literally just go, thank you so much, it's time to embody and be of a higher light quotient, because when we do that, more freedom, more love, more joy, more bliss, more abundance all flows in. And it's really, really, really wonderful energy. And you know what, I think we probably will have, because we've had eclipse season for this part of the year, but then we do have further eclipses in December, right? At the end of November, usually in December. So, this is a longer space as well, right? So, this is indicative of those eclipses, as well as the message that's already been brought through here about the conclusions. So I'm just going to lay that there. Let's pull out another card and see. And, do feel very welcome to ask questions about this transit, about anything that may be bothering you or anything. I know it's been a little while since I've been live here, so feel very welcome to ask those questions, right? But let's see, how else is Chiron going to be impacting us? We've got be bold and make the first move. We've got the cardinal moon. Now, sometimes when we have wounds, they're often to do with other people as well. And sometimes there has to be this energy of allowing the water to go under the bridge, right? And what's really interesting is that, especially because this is Chiron is transiting straight after the Cancer new moon, which was very much about embodying love, very much about, benefit of the doubt, offering benefit of the doubt to others, letting old relationships heal, right? Especially home-based scenarios and relationships as in partners. Heal, and kind of drawing a line under the sand there. The fact that this kind of follows on I think is quite prominent and poignant, because sometimes we actually do have to take a leap of faith here and offer the benefit of the doubt and actually make the first move in our healing path. And that sometimes will relate to reaching out to someone, right? Which is really, really interesting. Now we've got a question here. How does this transit affect dream time? I've been awakened by my dreams last couple of nights. Yeah, I bet. Let's just get one last card here for the general overall energy. Then I'm going to jump right back to that question. So, any more? Okay, yep. Look at that, balance. This year is all about balance, actually, ironically. Balance of the masculine and feminine. We've just had the summer solstice for most of us, especially, Northern Hemisphere, which is very much about that masculine and feminine energy merging and balancing. And, and what's really, really interesting here is that this is going to bring even more balance through for us, because we live in a world of polarity. We live in a world of duality, right? You know, we have two sides of the coin for everything. You know, as someone sees one thing, someone sees it with their eyes as a different perspective, right? You know, there is always a sliding scale. And what this is really going to help us do here is rebalance certain things. Now, I love that we have Libra coming up here, this new moon in Libra, because that will obviously be in October time, the start of October. So by then, there will have been a big rebalancing for you somewhere in your life, right? Now and this will be, once again, this is going to be individual to most people, because, you know, people's balance in certain things, you know, it's all going to differ. Once again, it's going to depend on your natal chart and your particular karmic lessons, right? As it always will. I'm just pulling a couple of cards here just to get a little bit of extra stuff going on. We've got White Buffalo Calf Woman here on the bottom of the deck, right? Bringing in this spiritual learning, this peace offering, right? Which, once again, is very relative to any dynamics, any family situations, any home situations. I also have Nurture Yourself with Mother Mary coming out. So once again, that energy is emphasized here. So there's a big energy of that mother energy. There's a big energy of that martyrdom and rebalancing any martyr victim mentality that may be going on. And this shows up in a very indirect way as well as the direct way, because most people hear martyrdom, victimhood and things like that and think it's very, very in your face, you know, very kind of direct, how, you know, we can identify and say, oh, that person's maybe martyring themselves, right? But oftentimes, you know, if we're seeing that within another, there's usually that happening within ourselves somewhere. And something that's showing up a lot right now, a lot is about how there is this underlying, especially for any mothers out there, this underlying energy of feeling like you are here for your kids, you are here to serve them, you are here to, you know, be at their beck and call, or the family, and they're draining you, and that's a form of martyrdom, right? You're martyring yourself for your own spiritual path because you don't believe you're worth your highest timeline, right? That is a big thing that's going to be coming up for a lot of people right now, in many different ways, you know, and that can also be if you are the daughter or son of your parents, right? You know, and how that dynamic is also you know, playing out. So whether you are the child or whether you are the parent, it is showing up for everyone in some way, shape or form. So I feel like that's going to be a big thing that's addressed. You know, we've also got a lot of grace energy coming in, a lot of divine feminine energy, a lot of that creation energy, creativity energy. If you are still feeling obligated to a clock, if you're still feeling obligated to do something, if you're not aligned with it, like that can be work, that can be how your day flows, that can be judging yourself for sitting down and for relaxing and for taking a break and just resting. Active resting is so important, and you're going to feel that more and more with Chiron Retrograde, because that's the divine feminine saying you need to listen, right? Because if we don't rest when we're being asked to, we will be very highly encouraged in other ways, right? And we also have this spiritual law of attraction coming in as well. So that's going to be really interesting. I'll come back to this card afterwards because I'm not sure exactly the message. So I'm going to wait for that to drop in. And I'm just going to get back to some of these questions that are being asked here on this wonderful live stream. So do feel very welcome, like I say, to ask questions. But let's have a look here. How does this transit affect the dream time? I've been awakened by my dreams last couple of nights. Yeah, great question. So let's ask here. And, you know, dream time is incredibly sacred, right? We, you know, our conscious mind, our ego shuts off. We go to do soul healing, soul learning. We do much work in our dream time. Every dream is a sacred divine message. Even, it doesn't matter how obscure it is, right? Sometimes the more obscure the better, because that's the dream guide's way of trying to get your attention so you remember what is going on in your dream, right? But dreams are never really that literal. They're always symbolic, they're always layered. I do offer dream interpretation, so if you have any interesting dreams that you really would like interpreting, do feel very welcome to reach out for that. I do recorded guidance for those. Let's have a look at what the angels are saying here for dream time, right? For how Chiron retrograde is going to affect that. So let's have a little look. So we've got this full moon in Gemini energy, right? So full moon in Gemini, that moon is in Sagittarius, I think. Like when the sun's in Sagittarius, so that's a December full moon, I think. So what's really interesting about this is the way that I'm feeling the message that this card is bringing through, especially in relation to dream time, is it's going to help you. It's going to help give a different point of view, a different vision, a different understanding of whatever any troubles, struggles, issues may be that you've been dealing with, that you've been struggling with throughout this time, or maybe an ongoing pattern. And once again, when I say ongoing patterns, I don't mean the same thing showing up, I mean the same energy. So an energy can be, okay, so we used the example of being a martyr earlier. That's an energy, right, of worthiness, of not being worth a certain amount. But that can show up so differently. That can show up between you and a friend, you martyring your time and experience and expertise for and compromising on the exchange, right? That can be you martyring something at your expense, right? That can be you and your parents, right? If you live near your parents, if you interact with them on a day-to-day basis, or however often, really. And you feel like you need to compromise your energy, your emotion, right? You are martyring that for them, right? Because you feel obligated to. It's that sense of obligation. So that's an energy, right? Same with if you have kids that you feel are quite demanding, right? That's you not setting boundaries, right? That's you not allowing yourself to be filled up by yourself, by your own lights, and allowing others to take that energy. It's all about boundaries, right? So that is one energy that showed up in 3 different scenarios that I've just shared and explained, right? So what I feel you may find in dream time is your dream guide will be coming through to show you scenarios. And once again, it's likely going to be symbolic, right? It probably won't be an exact, okay, here's this situation with these exact people, because that might be too difficult for you to see in that specific, in the way that it's showing up in reality. But I feel like you're going to be seeing a different perspective, right, in your dream time for things that have, for deep karmic wounds that you are specifically here in this lifetime to heal, because we all have certain things that we want to heal in this lifetime, right? We all come through into this life to say, okay, I'm going to work on this, and this in this lifetime. And that's what I'm going to spend most of my life on. And every time I clear that, then something else will come through, right? Because that's what you are choosing to master in this lifetime. Does that make sense to the person that asked the question? Oh, good. So yeah, I hope that helps here. Yeah, but dream time is, it's so incredible, and we do a lot of work, and we're just getting that card as well. This your hard work is paying off. We do a lot of work in our dream time, a lot of soul healing and relationship healing with others, and we don't even realize it, right? A lot of answers come through in dream time, and we might not even realize it until we work with someone who is able to help you interpret, right? Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this video for those that are joining right now. But yeah, so it's a really fascinating time. It's a really fascinating retrograde because, really, whenever a planet or a comet or asteroid, or whenever something goes retrograde, it's giving us that extra encouragement to go within, to find the energy within ourselves, right? And when it's Chiron specifically, it's really focused on us healing these deepest wounds that might be too difficult to look at normally, that might be too challenging to just kind of draw up, but you're being supported and encouraged. So I really love a retrograde personally, which suits because we've got Saturn in retrograde and Jupiter and Neptune and Pluto, so the 4 outer planets really in retrograde, so all kind of helping along the way, right? But I'm just going to have a little look see here as to the spiritual law of attraction card that came out, because I just want to make sure that I'm hitting on every point that the angels wanted to bring through, and the ascended beings and the star beings wanted to bring through. So we have wonderful Melchizedek here coming through with the spiritual law of attraction. Now everything, you guys, is law of attraction. That's one of the major laws of this universe. And not only the law of attraction, but the law of vibration, right? So I think this is very much linking to manifestation. Okay, so this is linking to manifestation. This is linking to your soul path and what you are actually meant to be doing here. Because the thing is, our wounds, our inner child wounds specifically, they block us from being fearless. They create a little bit of fear within us, right? Which can stop us from going forth on our highest timeline, because we have these underlying, quite passive fears that will stop us, right? And we don't even realize it. They're very sneaky. So what's really interesting here is, so we've got the spiritual law of attraction, because it's like it's going to be highlighted for us. We're going to really start to notice how we are manifesting, because, and it's like Louise Hay used to say, right? You know, the thoughts you think and the words you speak, right? You know, they create the reality that you're in. So what are you focusing on? What groups are you in on social media? You know, are you seeing posts about things that are not feeling too great to look at, right? Are you watching the news? Are you reading the news? All that stuff, you know? Or, oh, hello. I just saw one of my friends online as well. You know, are you watching all of that stuff? Are you tuning into all that stuff? Because even if we actually get dragged in just for a little moment, if you're in that space for more than 15, 16, 17 seconds, the law of attraction is going to start to bring more of that to you, more of that to you. And before you know it, you know, you're spiraling, right? So we're going to get really tuned in to that law of attraction, to it, how we're bringing that in, that manifesting that. And they're also saying, you know, we want to be removing blocks. This retrograde is going to help you remove those blocks that you have manifesting. Because to manifest something great, we have to remove the resistance that we have that's stopping it coming through, right? So oftentimes, you know, joy, bliss, abundance, time, everything like that is all around us all the time. There is not a lack of it. Literally, as soon as you think of a desire, of a thought, as soon as you feel that in your heart, you see that in your mind, as soon as you say, I wish that I had this, you have it. It is literally there for you. You have it. Your higher self has gone, okay, great, I've manifested that. But now that's up in the energetic realms, right? And the only thing that's stopping it being here physical is us in our physical bodies pinching it off. Because we don't feel we're worth it, because we're telling ourselves another story, right? So we really want to be careful about kind of really want to catch our thoughts, and the Chiron retrograde is going to help us do that, because we will notice more so the thoughts that we're thinking that are not benefiting us, right? I'm going to start to notice it in other people as well. And whatever we're noticing in another person, you know, make sure that you bring that back into yourself, right? Because if you're noticing it in someone else, they are showing up as a messenger for you as well, right? But if you're noticing it elsewhere, right, you know, chances are that is present within you, and you can then say to yourself, you know, how is this showing up within me? You know, for me to have noticed that, you know, are you holding on to that? Or are you letting it slide through? Are you letting it kind of go by? Because that's the really interesting thing as well, is that when we're around other people, family members, friends, clients, anyone like that, you know, if something kind of happens, are we holding on to something, right? Or are we releasing it? There's a wonderful kind of, and I think I've mentioned this before, there's like a Buddhist story, something like that. Two Buddhists, two monks were walking along a path, right? And there's a river, and kind of in this, you know, the monks weren't meant to kind of, you know, they're in an all male you know, monastery. They don't really kind of, you know, they don't touch female, and there was this female that needed to get across the water, and one of the monks just literally picks her up, takes her across, puts her down, and the other monk was just like, mind was blown, going, I can't believe you did that, you know, it's against this, that and the other, or whatever. I'm not really the best storyteller with this, because I don't know the ins and outs of it well enough, but essentially the moral of it is that the monk that actually picked up this wonderful young lady to help her cross the river just turns to the other guy and says, you know, it's really interesting, because seeing as though I physically picked her up, you're the one still carrying her, right? You're the one still carrying her, because we carry things energetically, right? And that is how law of attraction works. It's where our minds are at, and then it's charged and superpowered by our emotions, right? So what are we letting go of? What are we letting go like that? Or what are we holding on to? Because that's why we got to be a little bit careful, and it's going to be highlighted for us, which is really nice. But specifically, this is going to be linking to your heart space. Following your heart. This is the shift between the mind to the heart, and actually not even just the heart, but the soul, the higher self comes through that space, right? And you know, we can kind of think, oh, I need to tune in to whatever my heart is wanting and saying, but then we think about it, that doesn't make any sense, because then we're moving from our heart back up to our mind. No. By living, by focusing right here, right now, that's how you know that you're following your heart. You're being present. The moment you think about the past gone past, the future is the future, the moment that happens, right, you're now in your mind again. You're in the ego again. The ego is then charging your manifestations, you know? So I have a beautiful soul here saying that, you know, They're going through a lot of shadow work. Yes, now this is really interesting. Is it shadow work or is it inner child work? Because there is the shadow work is, oh, yeah, we're always faced with that shadow work, hey? And well done for anyone that is working with actively healing in which way. What we notice tends to be inner child, right? What we notice tends to be inner child. The shadows tend to be the stuff that we don't notice, right? And until it's hindsight, and then we're like, oh, wow. It's kind of in the unconscious. So, yeah, and the inner child is so wounded, bless. But that's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to come up to heal right now. So well done if you've got a head start on it, because if you have got a head start on it, you will know how to witness, right? You'll be right there witnessing that inner child, or just allowing that inner child to feel safe to express. And that is such a big thing, right? Look at this. Got Osiris coming out here, right? The father, husband, brother, son, right? So we've got that masculine aspect to the inner child that's going to want help healing, right? That inner child aspect of the masculine within us, the wounded masculine, right? And especially pairing that with the inner child as well, it's really quite interesting. So what were the stereotypes? How have we projected masculinity out in the world? How have we, yeah, absolutely, so much inner child work, absolutely. How have we portrayed and laid masculinity onto the world? What have we expected of other people? How have we spoken about it, right? And that's going to show up within ourselves, regardless of our gender, our physical anatomy. Doesn't matter. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us, and that's going to come up, right? Because that's part of that balance. Where was that card? Here it is. That's part of that balance coming in, right? So every time the feminine expands and the feminine heals, the masculine needs to do the same, because he is the structure. He is the protector, and he is the structure that allows, that protects her, the divine feminine, while she expresses, while she creates, while she, becomes that vessel, that chalice, right? And, they both need each other. That's the beautiful marriage of it all, right? And for those that are on the southern hemisphere, you will be having your summer solstice, right, in December. And it's the same thing, regardless as to which hemisphere you're on, because I know I've got people here from Australia and New Zealand in this group, and other parts of the world, regardless as to where you're at, it is still going to be showing up, just maybe in a slightly different way, right? Just maybe in a slightly different way. So this Chiron retrograde is really assisting, really helping there. And I absolutely adore all the transformative and transformational work, right, that we're all doing. There is so many people really actively doing inner child work, right, and wanting to rewrite patterns and clear the karma. We've got Saint Germain coming out here, because he's all about transmutation. That's what he does, that violet flame, that lilac fire of source. So if you are trying to pinpoint, right, if you're trying to pinpoint what the wounds are that you're working on, like, just get like a bit of an edge on it so that you can speed up the process and just kind of get more efficient with it, please reach out for an angelic guidance session. Reach out for a quantum healing. Those are incredibly powerful. The hour-long quantum healing sessions, they are specifically focused on inner child healing, right, on karmic release and soul cellular rewrites. Okay, so if that calls to you, quantum healing is essentially healing on all levels of energy, right? It's literally healing on every single level, every single plane. So if that calls to you, please reach out. It would be an honor to work with you. I am booking right now just over a week in advance, right? So if you are wanting to maximize on that, the earliest slot I have would be next week on Thursday. But similarly, I have angelic guidance. If you are, an old hat at doing the transmutation and all of that, if you've got that down, but you just love a little bit of extra help, kind of tuning into where you need to focus, either a live or recorded angelic guidance session is just going to really, really be very beneficial and helpful. And, I specialize very much in the womb mysteries, right? The priestess mysteries of the Magdalens and Isis, right? Very much in the dark mysteries, which is that inner child healing. It is that shadow work, right? It is that hidden stuff, right? It is that balance of light and dark, and integration of that. I specialize very much in that world. So if that calls to you, right, feel very welcome to reach out. It's always an honor. But I'm going to just open it up right now. I know I've still got some live viewers on here. So if you've any questions about this, pop your questions in. I'd love to be able to answer them right now for you. I'd love to be able to help you here just before we wrap up. It's getting very noisy in the house that I'm in right now, so it may have to be a wrap up fairly soon. We will find out. Oh, thank you, Stace. Lots of love to you, my darling. Yeah, the inner child ones specifically, they're so incredibly powerful, right? And yeah, and each one is so different because they're all intuitive sessions. They're very based in divine feminine energy, which is where the healing starts, right? So each one is always very, very different. But yeah, we usually move mountains in those quantum sessions, right? So, and look at this. We have Pallas Athena coming in here, right? Detached from drama. She's all about truth, right? In Atlantis, she looked after the temple of truth, right? Truth and wisdom. And it's Cancer season. Absolutely. Nearly Leo, hey? But yes, it is Cancer season, which is very much about that, that home life, that emotional state, and everything like that. So it's the perfect time. It really is the perfect time. We just got to stay focused, right? Because we can be kind of knocked off guard a lot, right? We just have to be focused, check in every day. Oh, bless you. I have someone saying here, I never forget the session I had where I'm at my higher self and it blew me away. So much gratitude. It is always an honor to serve and to help you connect with ascended aspects of yourself, because it's all you, it's all us, right? And that's what this lifetime is all about, is like, how much light are we able to let in? How much are we going to choose to release? How much resistance are we going to choose to release? And how much shadow will we integrate so that there is no longer this polar opposite, so that we can balance it in the middle? And when we balance it in the middle, we become that clear vessel, right? We do the healing, we expand on a cellular level, we start to bring in more and more light, And that's what it is. It's all about how much can we merge with our higher self, right? Your oversoul is up there going, okay, I'm going to pop you over here. I'm going to pop you over here. We're going to do all of these lives. They're going to be amazing. Each one you're learning something different. And this is where quantum healing comes in really handy, because we kind of, because we're in the quantum realms, we can access those other timelines, right? Where you have mastered certain things, where you have healed certain things, and we can reintegrate them into this now moment, right? Where you're currently focused. So that's always pretty cool. But yeah, unless there is any further questions, I am going to wrap this up a little bit. I want to wrap this up, but feel very welcome to reach out if this calls to you. If you have a query or anything like that, please feel very welcome to, to ask the questions, and and it's always an honor to bring a response through, and usually I'll do that in form of a video so everyone can benefit as well. So there will be a video coming out on my Facebook page about signs, because I had a gorgeous soul asking about how you know what a sign means for you, right? Because search engines provide so many different, everyone's got something to say about them. So watch out for that video. That's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you so much. You too. Enjoy your evening, and sending you all so much love from my heart, from the true heart, the one true heart, the cosmic heart, through to all of you. Mwah. I love you all so much. Bye for now.